And now for our next speaker. He is responsible for the divisions of corporate legal, compliance and insurance, corporate communication and government relations, and investor relations. During his career, he has held various positions such as Head of Sales Intermediates at Pharmaceuticals, Director of Fine Chemicals, Senior Vice President, Strategic Planning, and is currently the Chairman of the Board of Executive Directors at BASF and President of CEFIC. Please welcome to the stage Dr. Martin Brudermuller, who will deliver a keynote address on BASF's transformation journey to a carbon-neutral and circular future.
So it's a long way to the stage, as the transformation of our industry is a long way. Royal Highnesses, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for inviting me to the GPCA Symposium. And I would like to thank the chairman, Abdul Rahman Al-Feghi, for the opportunity to speak to you today. I'm very honored to address an important topic, our information to carbon neutrality and circularity. We meet in times that are anything else than easy. War has returned to Europe, with all the terrible consequences, fading economic vitality, worldwide reshuffling of the energy pricing landscape, and visible impact from climate change everywhere. For many companies, the outlook on their future financials and competitiveness has changed. Moving towards net zero has become even more difficult for our industry. We as an industry are essential with our products for a successful transformation of society and the industrial ecosystem. There's actually no net zero without the chemical industry. However, at the same time, we are remaining highly dependent on fossil raw materials and energy, and thus extremely challenged. Now you might say, this is especially the case for European industry. Yes, but I'm convinced that extreme price hikes in energy and raw material markets are a global challenge, leading to massive ripple effects on value chains, regional markets, and supply chains worldwide. At the very end, however, we can only solve the global challenges of climate change together. And this is a huge task of the global community of nations and ultimately the global energy-intensive industry. I would like to share with you what we do at BASF and where we have to fight as an industry for the right framework conditions. Most important for being successful is that sustainability has to be at the core of what we do, and it has to become our DNA. And this in BASF is the case. It has been embedded in our corporate purpose. There we create chemistry for a sustainable future. It is our ambition to take a leading role in the transformation of our industry. So what is BASF's way of making this challenging transformation successful? And what do we need from partners, from society, and from politics? We have ambitious CO2 targets, and they are clear to everybody in BASF. We want to become climate neutral by 2050, and by 2030, we want to reduce our emissions by 25% compared to 2018. Amin was right, it's not about words, it's about action. That is a huge challenge because also we plan significantly to grow organically. And I make this very clear, we are on this journey with all senses of realities. These targets require all possible innovation power of our industry and our partners have to offer. As you know, BASF drives integration rigorously through our Verbund. And thus we are tackling decarbonization from the value chain perspective. It is about raw materials and processes along the value chain together to get to net zero product carbon footprints of sales products. We want to be a front runner in this to differentiate and support our customers ultimately with zero emission products as their scope 3. To move fast, we need to pull all strings at the same time. We have to be experimental with new technologies, be bold in piloting steps, and even if they are initially not a good business case. To move fast enough, we have to employ all possible different renewable raw materials at the same time, mainly based vegetable oils, fats, grains, sugar, and wood. And let me be very clear, there is not a single material alone that would be enough to move the needle. And that is why we have to, in fact, tell this also all the time, again, to politics and societies. In 2021, we purchased about 1.3 million tons of renewable raw materials to use it for all kinds of our products. We use also renewable feedstocks such as biomethane and bio-naphtha in our Verbund as an alternative fossil resource. Allocation via the mass balance approach allow us to address the PCFs of a wide range of our end products. And you know that our broad product portfolio is a consequence of the efficient Verbund we are running. I pledge, however, that we all stand together as chemical industry to fight for pragmatic rules, clear rules that enable economic business cases for us and for our customers. Politics often might have dreams, but without pragmatic rules, we as industry just cannot deliver on what is intended. And therefore, recycling is becoming increasingly important due to limited bio-based resources, growing sustainability requirements in the markets, and regulatory developments. We target to increase the use of recycled feedstocks with our circular economy program, at least 250,000 metric tons of recycled waste-based raw materials we would like to employ in 2025, replacing fossil raw materials. Besides closed-loop approaches for some products, we focus our activities on chemical recycling of plastic waste. This technology complements the mechanical recycling, and it has the potential to reduce plastic waste in landfill and incineration. However, our whole industry, I think, currently experiences that the devil is in the details when it comes to the process stability, the purification of pyrolysis oil, and also the fast enough build-up of waste value chains around the globe. And also here we have to start to get us, we have as industry got enough headwind, and more headwind actually than tailwind. Regulations are overboarding in many regions, and hostile attitudes are making their way to plastic. I can only urge us here to speak with one voice for a constructive framework condition. The ICCA, the International Council of Chemical Association, managed for the first time to build a global joint position on microplastics, and this is, I think, a way forward which is very important to succeed. Second, we work on completely new technologies and processes to drive sustainability. With technical innovations and their subsequent investments, we reduce our emissions from both our production and from the generation of electricity and steam. Technology openness and the development of alternative technologies in parallel with partners are key. One good example is the electrification of steam crackers, the heart of our Verbund. Besides the carbon capture storage of CO2 from fossil energy carriers, the direct electrification is an important option for landlocked steam crackers. It is also allowing to convert steam crackers step by step, or you can say furnace by furnace, to adapt to market demand and the willingness of customers to pay for it. The direct electrification is an important technological step on the road to net zero emissions of the chemical industry. Here on the slide you can see a photo from the groundbreaking ceremony together with our partners CEFIC and Linde in September. I'm very happy that both CEOs, Yusuf Albenyan and from CEFIC and Jürgen Nowicki from Linde Engineering, have joined in this historic moment. We together developed and now test this new technology for the first time in one of our furnaces in one of our steam crackers in Ludwigshafen. Such bold steps need a cooperative approach and the expertise of more than one company. What unifies us is not just technological excellence, but the shared vision of a long-term climate protection strategy and the willingness to try out new ways to contribute. To build up a broad technology portfolio as a company is important. To share knowledge, to succeed, but also to share risk in the technical development. The funding from the German Federal Ministry of Economic Affairs and Climate Action is an important confirmation for us, showing us that our approach is also supported by policymakers and that our commitment is recognized. Together, we will study and demonstrate how the petrochemical industry can produce emission-free olefins from steam crackers in the future using electricity. And I can only urge our industry to partner more in developing bold technologies to get more speed in our transformation. But opportunities often come with brutal facts. We need enormous quantities of green electricity to reach our climate targets, especially since BASF wants to continue growing significantly at the same time. We expect that our global electricity needs will almost triple until 2040. Renewable energies but naturally have a different focus depending on the region. Globally, we are talking about solar and green hydrogen. In Europe, the biggest potential is, however, in the wind energy. But we are far away from meeting the green energy demand in Europe, and that is why BASF generates political pressure to accelerate capacity building. Once again, it is all about partnering. As part of our make and buy strategy, we have secured as a first step a half share of the 1.5 gigawatt offshore wind park from Vattenfall in the North Sea off the coast from Netherlands. It is the biggest wind park so far, and we will do that without subsidies. The good news is renewable energy from wind in Europe is very competitive, not only in the current energy pricing scenario, but also generally in the future setup of the Green Deal. But decarbonization is a global topic for BASF, and that is why we are tapping into different opportunities for all of our sites around the globe. In China, we plan to supply our third largest Verbund site in Zhanjiang with 100% green energy directly from the start in 2025. And this is even faster than we previously planned. And we are therefore playing a pioneering role in the manufacturing industry in China too. In 2021, we signed purchasing agreements with China Resources Power and China State Power Investment Corporation. Applying all the technologies, the new technologies, and the renewable energy, we ultimately want to run this site with only 25% of CO2 emissions compared to a state-of-the-art site today in China. Third and last point, our products are where all the sustainability efforts at the end come together, and they allow our customers to differentiate through sustainability. A happy end of our journey, or should I maybe better say a good start, comes with the fast build-up of a sizable market for zero product carbon footprint products. The good news is that many of our customers have strong focus on reducing their own carbon footprints of their products. And that means they need zero PCF chemical ingredients for their zero PCF consumer products. And that is why I am proud that BASF offers our customers cradle-to-gate product carbon footprints for all of our 45,000 sales products based on process emissions, energy demand, and upstream emissions. I'm very certain that by creating this additional transparency, sustainability will become more and more a unique selling point and thus an opportunity for profitable growth in our industry. And that is why we speed up offering first products with a significantly lower PCF for our customers. One more time, I would like to highlight the mass balance approach, which I had briefly mentioned before as a key for the decarbonization on product level. It is also part of sustainability to use existing plants and convert them gradually, step by step, to different raw material base. We cannot trace every single carbon atom in our complex Verbund production. However, with this approach, we can allocate the share of bio-based raw materials or those from the chemical recycling processes to specific sales products. We meet great interest of customers in almost all industries, and our low PCF products, as their as their low PCF scope 3 allow them to stand out from competition by improving the carbon footprints of their products. We expect that affluent and accountable customers will trigger a growing demand for those products because they want to make a personal contribution. The challenging question today is, do we have to envision lower market interest in future through the current economic downturn? Is the world facing a slowdown of climate protection? I stay optimistic. And when it comes to expectations, and our ambition is to be one of the first companies to offer industrial scale volumes of as many products as possible with a reduced product carbon footprint. One proof point for my optimism is actually the achievable impressive product carbon footprint reduction through our chemicals and materials on the level of consumer products. You see here on the picture that through insulation materials to sneakers, applications to textiles, it is actually quite impressive how the reduction in the chemicals can also reduce the footprint in the final products. Ladies and gentlemen, a holistic vision like ours requires courage, entrepreneurship, and creativity in innovation more than ever to drive sustainability in view of the current economic and geopolitical challenges. In the interest of societies, our business needs to be competitive during the transformation journey. I sincerely hope that our industry will not downgrade the transformation to carbon neutrality and circularity. We at BASF definitely will not do that, as mankind cannot afford. We as industry globally have to keep direction to keep our credibility, and with that, also our license to operate. This commitment we have to use, however, to even find more united for appropriate framework conditions to facilitate a successful transformation. I stay optimistic that politics and society at large have identified and started to understand that a close cooperation between industry, politics, and society is necessary globally. I'm convinced the petrochemical industry will remain a driver to net zero. Thank you very much.